to my computer so it's nice and high def. Okay, we're recording the training. This is everything you need to know to write a best-selling book using Claude predominantly in 6 weeks instead of 6 to 12 months for really less than probably dinner out for a couple of weeks. I'm super proud of what I learned about how to do this. I would say there's all kinds of ways to write books online, and there's even tools that do it. But I haven't found anything that works as good, that writes content as good. So I'm going to drop into Slack or into the chat right now a link to a Notion page that I'm going to share with you and show you what it is so you know what we're looking at and what we'll be going through today with has access.
Carl, quick, sorry to interrupt. Can you put that link in the WhatsApp group because we can't cut and paste that, and I can grab the link off the WhatsApp and then put it in
Yeah,
the circle. Thank you.
I look for a setting on why you can't cut or paste in that. I can't.
Oh, sorry. Christine said it's clickable. Duh. Sorry. I could just do that. Sorry. I'll just grab the link that way. Never mind.
Okay, so I put it in there as well. Let me pull up now and share my screen. And I'm going to walk you through what we'll cover. And if you need to get out early, if it's not resonating for you, don't feel obligated to stick around. It is being recorded, but if you do stick around, it'll be fun. I promise. I'll make it worth your time. All right, so in this Notion document that you've given access to, at the top is a course outline if you want to know where we're going ahead of time. I've linked here a link to my book draft. So if you click on that, you can actually read the book that Claude wrote for me. And you can judge for yourself whether or not you think the writing's any good. I'm going to show you exactly how I got it to work that way. I got a bonus training we're going to do first that's fast that we recently learned that's going to be really cool called a writing style guide for getting things submitted beyond Authority Press. So you get Authority Press for free. You can use Authority Press to get into 40 or so magazines. Actually, we can get you in all 300. You get 40 for free. Pick three inserts in any of 40 for free. If you want Inc., Fortune, Forbes, any of the other major media outlets, we could do that too. Desiree could do it. We give it to you at cost. We pay a fee per insert on those. It's a little bit different. Okay, so we're going to go through this. I have it scheduled as 2 hours. I'm going to go briskly, but not so fast that you get stuck. The idea is that you could do it with me as we go. We're going to teach something, do something. So everything I'm going to teach you how to do, we're going to put our toe in the water and do so that you get a little muscle memory. We're not going to flush an entire book out in 2 hours, but I'll give you every skill, every step that you need to go through it in order to be successful. Okay? If it ain't working, if I'm going too fast, if it's too technical, anything going on that isn't working for you, you gotta speak up and tell me. I gotta get the chat broken out so that I can see it too. So I'll keep the chat window over here and you can tell me if anything isn't working. All right, so let's start up here with this writing style guide. What makes this cool is, whoops, it opened it in another window. So I gotta share a different window, sorry. Share Google Chrome, I think that's this. This was a lot of fun to build, and you can copy everything in here. You can copy the prompts, you can copy everything. I did this for Modern Thyroid Clinic and our Claude. But what this allows you to do is start with an article or a blog entry, and I'll do one live and show you what it looks like.
Tell me what you think, is it's ready or not.
Can you guys make sure that you...
Got lots more, but I just don't know if it's ready enough.
Okay, I've got to mute somebody. Let's see who it is. I'm going to mute all. Unmute yourself if you need to. That way we won't get talked over. So the idea here is that you could go to a page. In our case, I'm going to go to modernthyroidclinic.com. You could go to any page you want. And if I drill into our blog, we have some interesting articles. Like here's one that McCall wrote on understanding armor versus levothyroxine, navigating medications. It's written in McCall's voice. Hey everyone, today we're diving deep into a topic many of you have asked about. What is it? How does it differ? Why would you use it? Typical blog kind of thing. You might see this in an email or a blog. And we're going to turn that into an output that would be suitable for US News and World's reports. And this is generally what we're going to do to make this work. We're going to create a project in Claude. And what I would recommend you do is you create, and by the way, this assumes you use Claude. You could do it in ChatGPT. I'm going to encourage you to use Claude. Claude Sonnet 3.7 is without question one of the best writing tools I've ever seen. It's kind of ridiculous. And in fact, I got to open another window. I've got too many browser types here to get you all through this. Give me 1 second. Get another. I have 2 versions of Claude that I actually have. One for Modern Thyroid Clinic and the one that I use personally. So I'm going to share the Modern Thyroid Clinic to walk you through what we did here. Okay, so we're in Modern Thyroid Clinic's CLOG, and I have a project. Everything is created in projects. And a project is a container of multiple chats where you can train the project what you want to accomplish with those chats, and you can read and take into context knowledge, which is called product knowledge, to make that work. And so here you see that we have something called an editorial magazine writing style project. That's the name of the project. So when you create a project, you can do what's called setup project instructions. So in this case, we didn't need project instructions. There wasn't anything fancy about this, but what I did want to do is create a writing style guide. So what we did to start with, and you guys, I'm going to give this to you so you can copy it, I'll put it in the notes, is I wrote a health policy opinion writing style guide. And I asked Claude to do this. And so we did that with a project that started with this query up here. And I'm going to open this up so you can read it. I prescribe Ozempic. Here's what RFK Jr. is getting wrong about it, okay? And what we'd want to write. So this was an article that had previously been drafted for USA News. You can use any example you want. And I wrote that and I said, below is an article that I just wrote. A lot of people coming in and out. This is wild. Below is an article I just wrote. It has a precise tone style, language style, and mechanics of writing I want to faithfully reproduce every time. Please read the article. Break down the story framework, writing style, tone, voice, and other metadata, and the style components to write for me a prompt that'll faithfully reproduce this exact writing style. And Claude comes back. I read through your article about Ozempic and RFK's junior stance. Let me analyze it, does a style analysis, writes it, and then creates a prompt that captures that style. Health Policy Opinion Writing Style Guide. Write as a medical professional, firsthand clinical experience, who's addressing policymakers and the public. Balance your expert knowledge with accessible language and genuine empathy. Your tone should be authoritative without being condescending, passionate but measured, personal yet professional, etc. Article structure. Write a 2-paragraph compelling hook. Begin with a bold statement that challenges conventional wisdom. Identify what others are getting wrong about the topic. Establish your credibility subtly through perspective, not by credentials. Then the news peg. This is what drives home the big point, 1 to 2 paragraphs. Connect to recent news, policy proposal, or public figure statement. Quote or paraphrase the relevant public statement. Briefly indicate why this perspective is limited or problematic. Then 3, do a personal experience bridge, 1 to 2 paragraphs. Transition into a patient story that illustrates the problem. Use first name only for anonymity. Include specific details about their struggles that readers could visualize. Then expand on it for 2 to 3 paragraphs. Broaden from the individual case to systemic issues. Reference your extensive clinical experience. Describe emotional impact on patients using vivid, relatable language. Draft the context, 2 to 3 paragraphs. Introduce relevant statistics from credible sources. Frame the issue as both health and economics. Use percentages and dollar figures for impact. Policy implications. Discuss current or proposed policies and acknowledge what policymakers get right. Identify gaps and misunderstandings in their approach. Then return to the human impact for 1 or 2 paragraphs. Circle back to patient stories with positive development. Show what's possible with correct approach. Include specific measurable improvements. Then the conclusion paragraph. right? Acknowledge good intentions of the opponents, restate your main arguments concisely, end with a forward-looking statement to emphasize what's at stake. Here's the paragraph structure. Here's the sentence structure. Here's the word choice and language. Here's the persuasive techniques. Here's special instructions. My guess is y'all haven't written a prompt like that yet. Have you? Type in chat if you've written a prompt like that before to write. Because when I show you the output, it's going to blow your mind. Okay? So this is called an artifact, or this happens when Claude makes on the side something that's called an artifact. And what's cool about an artifact is you can click a button and add any artifact into the project. Well, what does that mean? That means that what Claude just created can now be used to create something else. Okay? So, and now Julie says, yes, it's like a press release. Nope, it's not going to be like a press release when you see the output. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to go back to the editorial writing style, and I'm going to go into now that first draft. And what we did here is I said, I'd like you to rewrite the article using the style below. And while referencing the health policy writing style guide I put in the project. So remember, I created a writing style by reading another article that I liked. So there was one in US News and World Reports. So that looks good. I asked Claude, write a style that will faithfully reproduce that every time. That's what we just read. So I referenced it. Then I said, okay, cool. Using that style, now what I want you to do is rewrite this thing. And I took that blog post that I showed you earlier. Hey, everybody, we're diving deep into a topic many of you asked me about, blah, 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 right? The challenge of switching medications, yada, yada. And I said, now write me a US News and World Report-like thing. And this is what we got first draft. The thyroid medication debate, why natural isn't always simple. Now this is interesting because McCall's bias is actually to natural thyroid, not synthetic. She likes it. But Claude didn't get it right, but it wrote it well. You know, the recent surge in thyroid patients requesting Armour instead of synthetic reflects a growing public sentiment that natural medications are inherently superior. This perspective, while understandable, oversimplifies the complex reality of thyroid hormone replacement therapy and potentially puts patients at risk of suboptimal treatment. Last month, the American Thyroid Association released updated treatment guidelines that continue to recommend synthetic levothyroxine as first-line therapy, while acknowledging that some patients may benefit. So you read it, it meets that tone, that style, right? And so you're seeing what it wrote. In my 15 years of clinical practice, specializing in thyroid disorders, I've seen countless patients like Sarah believe their symptoms would disappear if their doctor would only use NDT, like Armour. The reality is far more nuanced. So it's following that guide, taking an approach that writes a balanced article. And what I commented at the end of this, and I'm going a little fast for the sake of time, but I said this draft, while well written, does not reflect our position on NDT. We believe that precision medicine, which leverages full thyroid panels and NDT, provides superior results, as evidenced by over 10 years and 10,000 patient journeys at Modern Thyroid Clinic. You took an editorial liberty to elevate synthetic drugs over NDT. Please redraft without taking a position contrary to our clinical experience. And then it rewrote it. The personalized approach to thyroid treatment, why NDT works for many patients. Growing number of thyroid patients requesting natural products like Armour reflects an important shift in how we understand thyroid hormone replacement therapy. Rather than dismissing the trend, we at Modern Thyroid Clinic have embraced it, recognizing that many patients experience significant improvements when transitioning from synthetic options to NDT, provided the switch is managed properly. Last month's debate at the National Endocrine Summit highlighted the growing disconnect between standard treatment guidelines and the lived experiences of hypothyroid patients. Notice how we completely changed the narrative and flipped it from pro-synthetic to pro-natural. And so it goes on, tells the story. It's really well written. We're part of the way there. I'm going to go back to the training I was giving you just a second ago and tie it all together because this is where it gets good. Share my screen. Go to writing style. Here it is. Okay. So in the training that I've given you access to, you've seen kind of how we put this together. So what you want to do is create a project in Claude called the editorial writing style. You can copy what I gave you, make a new chat. In that chat, we're going to select a writing style called compassionate expert. How did we get that? Well, what you can do with Claude whenever you're writing anything is you see this little button here, which will be important in writing the book, called choose style. And you can create and edit new styles. So remember when we created that whole style before? I can now put that natively in Claude by say create a custom style and describe my style instead, and here paste the entire style that I showed you over in Modern Thyroid's Claude here, and then we named it. And so in Modern Thyroid, we created that editorial writing style. So it will faithfully reproduce it over and over again. So we did that. And then I write this command. I would like you to rewrite this article using the style selected below and while referencing the health policy writing style guide in product knowledge. So let me recap. We had it read an article. We liked it. We said, write a style for it. It gave us a style. We said, add to project in Claude in that side panel. Clicked add to project. So now it's in the project. We copied it. We went into writing styles, said create a new style, pasted it in there as well, and said, this is a new style. We're going to call it editorial writing style. So it's now a defined written style in our Claude account. It's in our project knowledge. So within the project, it has two references to know exactly how we want this to turn out.
Question, Carl. Am I understanding this that you actually have two writing style guides it's referencing, or is it one? Because it says,
Same
you
twice.
know,
It's the same twice. We're saying
Okay.
prompt, reference the writing style in the project knowledge as an anchor, and I found this is necessary. But when we're in Claude, we also, in any given prompt, choose the style, which I'm in a different Claude account now because I'm doing a book training. I've got two Claudes running. But I've created a style over in the thyroid one that's called editorial, right, for doing editorial writing. So yes, I wrote in my, here, I'll just go back and show you. It's, instead of waving my hands, I need to just show you. Okay, so now I'm in Modern Thyroid's Claude. I have a project called Editorial Magazine Writing Style. In it, when I write something, I choose style, and we have now a style called Compassionate Expert, which was defined by the way I showed you. And in the project, we have a writing style guide. This one was created by copying this text. Just copied the whole style, copy, went here.
Why was it necessary if the project is already referencing the health policy opinion, unless you're just making it explicit that it's not just simply a document it has in its knowledge base, but it's actually instructions on how to write the thing. Is that what I'm understanding?
100%. What I have found is that all of these tools will drift as you're writing. Claude added a writing style, but it kind of waters it down. So if I come in here and create yet another one, create a style, I'm going to create a custom style. I'm going to describe this.
So it's a matter of emphasis, as I understand. If you add it as a writing style, then Claude prioritizes it even higher than just mere project knowledge. Am I understanding that?
Yes, and it maintains it over long projects.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Now it says deliver authoritative empathic health policy insights, right? And I'm going to say that style. And that's the compassionate expert voice. So that now that I have the voice set, when I did the prompt to write the article, if you go to the top, I said, I'd like you to rewrite this article using the style bell while referencing the health policy writing style in product knowledge. So I gave it's referencing the same thing, essentially, but it's really not. And for whatever reason, I can't explain why, I find that if all I do is define the writing style, where I just showed you in the actual chat window, down here, where I just say, hey, let's create a writing style, it doesn't stick. But when I'm in a project and I also reference the project knowledge. See, when you use Claude, there's a thing called a context window with AI. Context window means this. There is a certain amount of memory you get to do everything with. Your prompt is some of that memory. The output is some of that memory. And when you use Claude projects, it expands the available memory to reference when it's thinking. The memory here, you can see I've used 1% of the capacity of all the things that could be referenced when writing in this particular project. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the context window is critically aware of how I want this to turn out. That's the big idea. Tracy, your hand's up. Unmute yourself and ask a question.
I just took a bite, so okay. Sam's been filling in. My computer froze and I had to reboot. But is there going to be some? I see all these amazing prompts you're writing when you're showing this to us. And I'm looking in the document you send, and it looks like more of an outline for this meeting. Is there going to be something we're going to get that has sample prompts that we could like basically steal from you?
Yep. There are prompts in the document, and any that I've missed, I'm happy to add.
Okay. I guess I'm just seeing.
You have to click on the first link that's in there in the Notion, and then it's the writing tips on how to create a guide.
Yeah. I have a link in the Notion document. Thank you.
Do I have the right thing here? I feel like I'm looking at Speakeasy Book Training, Welcome and Introduction.
At the top of that document,
Yeah.
you go to the top, and I got to go to another window.
Oh, all the way to the top. Okay. So which one are we in then?
Writing Style Guide and SOP, the third
Oh
link.
my God, thank you so much. I'm glad I asked. I was so lost. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so to use that style, we're going to create the project, make the chat. You're going to write a prompt. I would like you to rewrite this article using the style below while referencing the health policy guide. You can just copy it here. Paste in your content then, an old blog post, a copy of another article, a fleshed out outline. The quality doesn't matter, and you're going to get to 90%. Read the article for errors, and sorry, somehow, I don't know how I'm getting a phone call. I can't seem to turn it off.
While we have this little moment, can I ask you, Carl, would you mind being willing to just kind of show us like your projects area? Because like I've explored Claude a little bit, and I just, for some reason, the outline is looking different, and I just want to get a mental image of like, because you said that it was within a project in Claude that should be in your sidebar, and then there's chats within that, but whenever the timing is convenient.
Yeah, not a problem. Let me stay on. Make a note, please. I feel like we're going to lose time. We're already at 8 o'clock.
Yep. Nope. You go ahead. Thank you.
For our training, and I'm afraid you guys are not going to get the value. But I want to finish this because this is if you understand the concept that I'm teaching you today about how to set up a project, how to put things into the knowledge base, including writing a style guide, how to define a writing style guide, and you watch my process with this will translate into much more than just this project. So bear with me until I get through this, and then we'll take questions and go into the book outline and how to apply this now to the book stuff. So you're going to get a draft, and it'll be well written, but it may have errors. Read the article for errors, or the text is not aligned with your approach, like I showed you it wasn't for us. We like NDT. This didn't. And there's about a 50-50 chance it won't be aligned with your philosophical approach. That is okay. So in our case, position appeared anti-NDT, so we told it to redraft. This draft, while well written, like I showed you, didn't reflect our approach. Reprompted it, reread the results. Then you're going to do this. We're going to go to Perplexity, Deep Research, paid version. This is a massive unlock for technical writers. And this is $20 a month. So here I am in Perplexity. And the prompt I gave it, as I said, please read this article. Do not change any copy in the article. Instead, find all relevant references to support the stated facts or claims made within the article. Then provide a copy of the article hyperlinked with all relevant references. And so the article goes up and it winds up giving me a hyperlinked version back. So if I come back over here, I'll show you how it turned out. So the original blog post you can read. That's what McCall originally wrote. That first editorial draft with the commentary writing style, you see exactly how it turned out wrong. Then I did a correct any errors and I said, redraft it. And then here's the rewrite that is positive for NDT. You notice it's just text. Then I copied Perplexity, the same content, but check it out. This article takes every fact or reference or claim and hyperlinks it to sources that are like in PubMed. Imagine writing a research paper like this. And at the bottom are all the citations. Is that cool? Does anybody else love that? Like for you health nerds? That's ridiculous. So again, the big rocks were set up a project for the way you want to write something. Train it by posting a copy of a writing style you really like. Have Claude give you a detailed written writing prompt. Copy the prompt. Add it as an artifact. Make it an artifact. It goes into the side panel. Click Add to the knowledge base. Just a little button at the bottom of every artifact. Just kick it in there. Goes in. Start a new chat. New chat. Open up the chat window. Train the writing style like you saw me do.
Carl, if you'd be willing to just quickly like show that side-by-side panel as you're describing it,
Sure. So
that'd be easier.
project knowledge. Okay. I did, by the way, I used Claude to build the whole training for what we're doing.
No, I mean just as you're describing the thing, just so we can see the thing as you're describing it.
You get an outline, you prompt it to do something, you have an artifact over here.
There, yeah.
Down at the bottom, add to current project. Click, that puts it in the product knowledge. You can click here to copy. By the way, the other reason I like this is you could quickly copy the contents and then I paste things over into Notion. And then I make a copy, I go to Perplexity. When I'm done writing, it's like, yep, that's what I wanted to say, but I need to make citations factually correct, unassailable, cross-reference it, and I just go into Perplexity Pro, and I set it on deep research. So if you are creating a new thread, you'll see this, and you get a little bump here. You just say deep research, and I wrote, rewrite this exact, or read this exact article that I pasted. Do not change anything, but find all relevant references, links to citations, facts, statements or claims, and hyperlink them to citations. That's it. And then you get this where, boom, click on it, there's your citation in PubMed. Exactly in alignment with what was written. So no longer is any of your writing questioned. It's not, quote, made up with AI generated hallucinations. It's real and factual. Is that cool or cool? Type in chat so I can see.
Thumbs up. It's good.
All right. So now, knowing that, let me back out and get over to book writing. And so what we're going to do now is go through that. Go into my Claude projects. I'm going to first give you a little tour. You can follow along with the outline that I created for you all to keep up with the training. Let me just get my window. I got so many windows going. All right. I gotta find my Notion page, so I'm with you. All right, so section 1, I'm supposed to start an hour ago. Let's dig in. So I'm gonna go right through this in order. The value proposition, guys, is 6 weekends, you'll get a book. and you'll maintain your authentic voice, and you'll write in a style you like, and you'll know how to apply this over and over. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to show you my book in my projects and show you my prompts, how I did it. And then what I want you to do is I want you to open Claude and do it for a fictitious book, even if you don't have one ready, to just ideate. I'm going to teach you how to create a co-author in Claude that you can reference and who will be your writing partner and help you get through this. So the one thing to keep in mind that's cool about Claude is you can ask at any time for help. Hey, I need some help. Could you be my co-author? I'm stuck. Help me with X, Y, or Z. So we'll walk through that. All right. We don't need to do introductions. I want you to ask questions at the end of every little section. Please try not to interrupt so we could get through it quickly. And we'll just kind of dig in. So setting up Claude. I'm assuming everybody has Claude. When you're in Claude, the first thing you're going to want to do is create a project for writing. So you're going to click Create Project and name it. And this is my writing project sample. And this won't tell Claude anything. You can say what you're trying to achieve. I'm just going to put write a book. More for your reference than Claude's. And you're going to create a project, and your project's empty. It's got nothing, okay? And so this is a chat. It's like any GPT chat, but what's different is with a project, you can have multiple chats, and they're all grouped together. With Claude, you can easily upload a file, up to 20 per chat if you wanted to. And it can be an image, a screenshot of text, it could be actual text or PDFs. Claude's really good about taking virtually anything. You can capture a screenshot. You don't care about GitHub, doesn't matter. You can connect to a Google Drive to make it easier to go pull out content if you choose to do it. I've never done that. And so yes, only the paid version. You gotta pay 20 bucks to write a book using this method, right? It's $20 to get the paid version of Claude. You can't do it on the free version. Project knowledge, this is where you're gonna set up your instructions. We're gonna go over that in a second. There's nothing in there yet, and it's optional. And then you can add things to your project knowledge with the plus here. You can favorite your project so it goes to the top of your list. You can unstart, you can change the details. That's pretty much everything you need to start and set a project. Everybody with me so far? Okay, if you're not, type in chat. All right, so cool. We got over that in less than 2 minutes. We talked about the interface elements, so you know how to use chat. You can pick your models. Don't pick anything but Claude 3.7, period, full stop. Always use 3.7, don't use Opus, don't use 3.5, don't downgrade, Claude 3.7 Sonnet, okay? The style we're going to create, and we'll do that in a second. That'll be our first exercise. But it's a simple interface, right? And the way to get back, so I'm gonna just do a first little thing here is like, hi, I'd like you to help me write a book. Please act, and actually if you go down, I'm going to tell you if you scroll down after section 3, nonfiction book project planning, part 2 is there's a prompt there that you can quickly copy. I'm just going to grab it. I'm going to paste it in here. I'm planning to write a nonfiction book. Please help me develop a comprehensive concept brief by asking me relevant questions about my expertise and my background, my target audience and the pain points, the transformation I want to create for readers, my unique perspective, how this book will help. Okay? I'm just going to go. We're not writing anything. We're collaborating. So we don't care about a writing style. So you guys can each now copy that prompt. Okay? Michael send show me your memory using 4.0. What's this? Yeah, Michael said, okay, yeah, you can actually extract things in your memory if you've got stuff in OpenAI. But notice now I'm going to start interacting, help you develop a comprehensive brief. Question 1, what's your expertise and background qualifies you to write a book? I'm a former CEO, COO, CMO, Inc. 5000 honoree, who's scaled 12 businesses with a focus on health. I'll just start there. The more details, the better. It's going to ask the next question. So you guys should be doing this with me. Thank you for sharing. Okay, question 2. Who's your target audience? For this exercise, I'm going to say health business owners. It's going to ask another question. Thank you for identifying your target audience. Let's go deeper. What are the pain points or challenges that health business owners face your book will address? How to step away from their income being tied to one-on-one patient visits and create leveraged income where they don't need to trade time for money. Cool. So it's going to clarify and it's going to keep asking, what transformation do you want to create? I want to help readers go from confused, stuck, unaware of their leveraged income options to having a clear plan to leverage their experience and expertise outside of clinical patient visits. Boom. Thanks for defining the transformation. Number 5, what's your unique perspective or methodology that sets it apart? So we're going to keep going, but what we're going to do, so there's how will the book differ and what are the other questions? So we're going to keep writing this. I'm going to say, I want you to help me come up with this. I don't have one. Okay, cool. How can I help you? Happy to help you develop a methodology. The health business scale-up matrix, a systematic approach that maps out specific income streams beyond one-on-one patient visits. Organized as a matrix where one axis represents implementation complexity, the other is revenue potential. The 5P leverage system, packaging, platforms, partnerships, products, positioning. The clinic method. Wow, that's pretty damn cool. I think I'm going to write a book, right? So you see what's happening. How do you envision your book differing from others in the market that addresses passive income? This is practical, actionable, and accessible. Spoken in terms easy for clinicians to understand, step by step. Okay? So the Health Business Freedom Blueprint. Straightforward sequential framework designed specifically for clinicians. Created an acronym. What specific leverage income models do you want to focus on in the book? I'll just for this say courses, telemedicine, and group programs. Thanks for specifying it. Question 8. What are the most common obstacles or mistakes you've seen health professionals make when trying to implement? All right. 1, trying to do too much at one time. I'll stop there. Beyond trying to do too much, what other key mistakes? I'll just say that's it. Well, no, actually, I got to be honest. Trusting gurus in other industries, thinking what works in a non-health related field works for health pros. Right. I will show 2 case studies that, for each type that show a 7-figure revenue stream for each with 35% or greater net income margin. Yours will differ. So now's the brief. We all just answered a handful of questions. And now Claude's going to say, here's the book concept: Beyond the Exam Room, the Health Professional's Blueprint for Leveraged Income, author credentials, target audience, reader transformation, from this to that, key points to be addressed, unique methodology, differentiation from competitors, key content areas, success validation, right? Looks good. I want to put that in project knowledge and now follow that and use it to go forward. So what I'm going to say here is say this, and you would refine this. I'm going quickly to get the concepts down, but what I want to do is move this into project knowledge. So I'll say this looks great. Please, this is a key phrase, create an artifact that I can add to project knowledge. So it's going to rewrite that. Now you see it creating that little thing here. This is called an artifact, which means it just puts it in a side panel. But an artifact is like its own standalone document. That's what makes them powerful. So, and you'll notice, tip, long chats cause you to reach usage limits faster, start a new chat. This is why I use project knowledge in multiple chats. So now I'm just going to click down here and say, add that to project knowledge. Go back to the main project. So now we have project knowledge. We have an outline. Let's go back to our steps. I kind of jumped around a little bit, but now we're going to get into, so you understand how it works. We got into the preparation. We showed how the interface works. And now we're going to get into the actual planning. So Hustle Doesn't Scale, the book that I wrote, here, I'm going to go to that project so you can see a whole project built out. I have lots of projects, and so you can search them. Here's my Hustle Doesn't Scale book project. And when I set this up, I did everything we just talked about. So I set the info panel. You're a professional ghostwriter for a nonfiction book. You'll help me write the book Hustle Doesn't Scale. It's critical that your tone, word choice, and writing style be similar to, I had people I liked, Jason Fried, the author of Rework, and it doesn't have to be crazy at work. Another writer style to pattern is Seth Godin. The core theme of the book is the simpler, less stressful way to scale your business. You can't hustle your way out of overwhelm. If you want to break through plateaus, you've got to focus on the essential few goals, strategies, and systems that will allow your team to execute faster, with less stress and effort, with more precision. Inside the book, you'll find simple ways too. I made a list of the things that I plan on doing. Offered inside the book, I wanted to do Confessions of a Hustler, the journey from hustle and grind to rise and shine. These are concepts that I had, my through line, right? And Tracy's asking, we're supposed to be following along with doing this with Carl at this warp speed rate. Are we just watching? You can be piddling and setting up your project. If I'm going too fast and I need to slow down, correct me. I'm trying to make up for the hour we lost on the front end of this. Would you like me to slow down? Am I going too fast? Tracy says yes. Type in chat. Who wants me to slow down? Who says it's okay and you're keeping up? Remember, it's being recorded.
Yeah, I know that. My question is, are we supposed to be producing something now, or are we just supposed to be learning? Because those are two different things, and that's where I'm confused.
If you'd like to be in setting up project knowledge with me while I'm doing it, you're free to do that. If you'd like to sit and watch, you could, whatever style supports you.
Okay. I just know for me personally, like moving really fast, like doesn't have as much value as really taking it in and learning it. So I think I'll just watch for now.
Yeah, when we originally said we would do this, the goal was to do it side by side,
Yeah.
kind of workshop this. And I'm happy to slow down so we could do workshop. I won't get through the whole thing in the time that we had allocated. You know, unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit, but let's just kind of recap. Because so far, what I showed you in that kind of bonus thing and what I'm showing you now are the same. We want to create a project. In the project, we want to define what we're going to do. Okay. Once we've done that, we want to start collaborating with Claude. And if we don't know where to start, we can start by saying, hey, I want you to help me get the outline going. So if you look at my project here, in order of when I did them, here's all the chats it took me to write a book, right? So everything I ever did. So it started all the way down here with me saying, what are some examples of what can happen if you de-hustle your business? Because I wanted to write a book, so it created a whole list. Like, oh, that's cool. What did I do after that? So I'm thinking through this. Then I said, I want you to come up with a business process optimization sheet to help me think through it. I'd like to create a worksheet or a tool that a business owner's teams could use to identify things that could be simplified. So it made me a worksheet. And this is just helping me refine and think through how I'm going to help people de-hustle their business. I didn't have a book yet, just kind of iterating. What did I do next? I said, let's think of some chapter titles. And so I'd like you to be my writing companion and ghostwriter of my book. Think through every step carefully. I misspelled it. Our goal is to write a best-selling book. We use stories from my life and the life of other entrepreneurs to engage a reader. And then we take them from less desirable before state, constant stress, hustle and grind, costing your health, relationships to suffer, to a better after state. You're in a flow state. You're enjoying meaningful work. You're engaging creatively and collaborating with your teams. I want you to interview me to get the chapter titles nailed down. And so it said, hey, thanks for providing the detailed review. And it started asking me questions, and I answered those questions. It said, thanks. And then it gave me a proposed structure. And I got my first draft of chapters. And I said, thanks for that. It told me what the structure was. I go, within the project, I shared some key chapter ideas already. Remember project knowledge? So I uploaded some little things I'd written on the side, my confessions of a hustler, work reimagined. These are blog posts that I'd written before. Hey, thanks for reminding me about those pre-sold chapter titles. They're important. So it revised the chapter outline. Tells me what it did. And with that, I clicked add to the current project, and I had chapter titles. I had the book outline, and I had chapter titles added. And once that was done, then I could just start having a conversation where each chat was a chapter. So Christina's saying, so basically walk through your client journey, ask it to help you make artifacts for each roadblock, apply artifacts to the project, create a chapter outline. Exactly, Christine. So project's a container. Think of it as your project notebook for everything you're doing. And if I'm not clear, I start a new chat in the project and say, help me work through some ideas. So you'll see, and I'm just going to give you a glance and we'll go back to the structure. These are all the things I wrote starting 8 months ago. I had personal notes. So one of the things I do, you can use a tool like Whisper and literally just capture ideas, talk to it. And I captured gobs and gobs of ideas. I had personal notes. And what I did in this chat is I said, Apple Notes and random thoughts are in this paste, because I just did a paste buffer, I copy paste. I'd like you to read what I pasted in. Then using the writing style for this project, rewrite my notes and reorder the ideas to be organized in relevant sections. If anything in my notes is duplicated, consolidate it into one. This was a hot mess. Like I just had all these notes of stuff I had dictated in no particular order, a complete hot mess. And it said, certainly, I'll rewrite it. And it created sections with paragraphs, introduction, the myth of perpetual hustle. You're stalled, but it's not about effort, it's about focus. So these are just random ideas turned into more refined thoughts. And I read it and I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. And it said, is there any particular section you'd like me to expand on? Not yet. I have some additional notes I'd like to layer in. They include the items that are between, and I used double square brace, double square open, double square close. Please add these notes to the list. Where there's a clever turn of words or something that could be a strong hook, don't rewrite it, but rather capture it and expand it. So these are just little things I would think of, like, that's a cool phrase. Running a calm company, put toxic industry norms aside, takes everyone involved, or hustle mania. Legends are born in struggle. Goals don't care how you feel. It's all bullshit. You can play with your kids and still be successful, and less stress is a product of less wasted time. It's just random shit. Just me riffing. Certainly, I'll incorporate these notes into an existing outline, grouping similar ideas and concepts together. Boom, you refined it. Hustle doesn't scale, simpler, less stressful way to scale your business. And we're just kind of layering in ideas as we go. And cool things I came up with, like Hustle Mania, The Great Deception, redefining success, what I thought I wanted versus what I really wanted, new success metrics, AI revolution, all of this was just an outgrowth of collaborating with my chat. And after that, I pasted something else and it said, this outline now more fully captures the essence and challenging of the hustle culture. Is there any specific area you'd like me to expand? Not yet. I'm still adding notes. I got notes from everywhere. Where I've written paragraphs, please preserve these and place in a section of their own, applying the writing style of the book. And so
quick question. You mentioned Whisper. Is that an app or is that?
it's Whisper Pro. I'm gonna go sideways.
Because when I type Whisper into, the App Store, it's a bunch of dating and communication apps that are probably not on brand for what we're doing here.
It's called Whisper Pro or Super Whisper. It goes by weird names, but this is a Mac app that I've downloaded. And what you can do is start a new recording like this. And so I could just be talking and I have it on my phone and I could just record. And what I want you to do is write me a story about how a fictional character from contemporary zeitgeist, we'll call it The Simpsons, let's say, how Bart Simpson's life is an example of less hustle, more scale, and embodies a hustleless culture. Make a turn of words that leverages Bart Simpson and the Family Guy. I don't know, figure something out.
So this is a thing, Claude, or is this a separate AI?
This is Super Whisper. So now I hit transcribe that recording and I just have something that sits on my Mac and I quickly got a transcription. And now I can copy that and paste it wherever into Claude with a prompt. And I can also pick what I want if I want to do stuff with it. In this case, I just use it mostly to capture stuff quickly and easily. I can summarize things. This is beyond the scope, but it's an app. It's a Mac app.
Okay, I found it. Got it. I'll post it in the group.
All right. So I want to get back. Where was I? Shoot. Claude. Okay. So just kind of walking you through the thinking. I just want you to understand how to think about this. So I'm still getting personal notes. And it said, do you want me to expand on anything? No, I pasted more stuff in. So I just keep pasting things in. All these random ideas. I'll incorporate them. Updates it again. Another version. Rhythm of the business. Integrating new content. Here's what I changed. It always tells you what it did. Now it asks, the outline more fully captures the essence of moving from hustle-based approach to more sustainable, efficient, blah, blah, blah. Is there any specific area you'd like me to expand? I write, are all paragraphs from my previous notes now in this chat? I apologize. Upon reviewing it, because I noticed it went away. And it said, upon reviewing our conversation, may not have incorporated all the paragraphs. To ensure we haven't missed anything, it'd be helpful you confirm which specific paragraph sections are out. And then I said, more notes. So I highlighted what was missed. Thank you for providing additional notes. And we just kept iterating. So that gave me notes, and I added it to my artifacts, expanded my product knowledge. That was the next step in my journey. After the notes were added, I wanted to get the writing style right. So I decided to write chapter 2. And to do that, and to get the writing, I said, here's a writing prompt for all chapters of the book. When writing, embody the following style. Write with a clear, confident voice that respects the reader's intelligence. Vary your sentence structure. All of this was something I used a prompt to generate. So I generated my prompt. I said, I understand what you want to do. Are there particular industries or business you want to focus on? I answered. And I said, I want you to write this. Here's a chapter title. Here's a subtitle. Here's an opening quote, an opening story. And all of this was flushed out in my outline. I gave some examples. So let's focus on drafting chapter 2, work 4.0, and it wrote it. And I read it. So here's my title, Here's my subtitle. Here's my quote. Here's my story, written as I asked. And when that's done, I go, this is good, continue. It says, I'll continue writing the chapter. It wrote more. I said, continue. Make sure we take time to contrast work 4.0 with whole. I'm giving it feedback. Do contrast. Incorporate a reference to Harry Dent's work on pendulum. Great. Writes another draft. And it says, would you like me to continue? This is perfect, I tell it. Move forward with a deeper explanation of the 4 pillars. Certainly. Goes in deeper. So it's iterative, is what I'm trying to demonstrate. Is you have it write something, you read it, you tell it what you want to do different, and you're constantly working in this one chat about this one topic to get to one outcome, so that what you can do is add that to the knowledge base once it's tight. And Claude is constantly learning what you like, how you write, what the tone is, what the story framework is. And by adding it all to the project knowledge, here's the big benefit. A good writer connects chapters, does future pacing, opens loops about what to expect. As I iterate on the book, it's learning the whole book, and that becomes easier and easier for it to do without hallucinating. So would you like me to continue with the next section of the chapter? Great work. Please output one full draft of chapter 2 now, that I can copy the full chapter. Certainly, it writes the full draft. And at that, I went, and it said, Claude hit the maximum length for this message, so it paused it. It was just in time. So I added the last one back up to the project knowledge, and I kept going. So that's the rinse and repeat. You just see that go over and over and over again. And I thought, I would like to get a clearer writing style prompt now. So I said, I want you to carefully analyze the writing from the text I paste between this. And I gave an example of Lauren Powell Jobs' writing, because I loved how pithy it was. And I had it update my writing style. And it wrote that whole analysis out. I added it to project knowledge. My writing got better and better. After that, I said, what are symptoms, like how much, remember I had it coach me, and it asked me, like, what are some of the symptoms? What are problems? So I started a chat. And I said, what are the symptoms of a company that's troubled by hustle culture? What could look normal at first, even attractive, only to find out later that quick wins are replaced by significant pain? An example might be high turnover, selling to the wrong customers. Give me a list of 20, rank order them. Boom. I get a list of all the symptoms of hustle culture. Great. Add it to project knowledge. Are you starting to see what I'm doing? Like, if you're getting it, please type in chat, getting it. But what I'm doing is I'm using this as a collaborative partner to go deep on the concepts, ideas, and things to flesh out. And I won't go through any more in detail. We'll get back into the training. But what I did do is then, once I started to figure out how it was going to work, and I could start to get into the chapters, I looked for stories. So I wrote the prompt, I did the symptoms, and then I asked for lessons from famous figures because I wanted to quote people. So I said, give me relevant examples of famous people that started off hustling, or famous companies who de-hustled. And then it turned out Basecamp has a neat approach to work. Tell me that story. And then I said, let's do an overview now. I've captured all this. Give me an overview. Tell me what you're thinking. Help me tie this all together into a good book format. And once we got there, we started writing chapters. I did chapter 1. I did chapter 2. Some of these got reordered when I went back and updated them. And I just started going through them. Chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, on and on and on. Telling stories where I wanted to incorporate a specific testimonial or story or example. I'd flush that out by itself because that was its own thing. All the way up through prologue and everything else. And then I said, and this is where it gets fun, I want to do a comprehensive review. You're a professional B2B book editor. I'd like you to perform a comprehensive review of the book Hustle Doesn't Scale, contained in the documents labeled Chapter 10. Title, contained within the project knowledge of the project, include the prologue, the table of contents, everything. The other documents are referenced, the ideas, the quotes, the facts, can and should be incorporated wherever were appropriate. For your first task, I'd like you to evaluate the section chapter title is relevant to the content of each chapter. Please identify any incongruity and make suggestions to improve the chapter titles. I want them pithy, accurate, and strong hooks to get the reader to read. Put your suggestions in a table format. And it gave me suggestions. You know, here's what it was, here's what it might do differently. Most of the titles are strong and engaging. I made suggestions to do X or Y, right? And keep collaborating. Next, I'd like you to review the entire book. Look for duplicate quotes. If you find any, suggest appropriate replacements. Turns out there were some, 10 chapters, hundreds of pages. So it made corrections. Given that there are no duplicates replaced, perhaps we could consider if there are any sections that could benefit from additional relevant quote. Sure, suggest them. And it did. It came up with quotes for other chapters that were missing. Great. I wrote, you repeated yourself and these quotes, most are already in the chapters. Because I read the book. Apologize for my confusion, you're right. It will make mistakes like this. So it redrafted. Thank you, much better. So we're just iterating. It's a partner. And then I said, are there any repeated phrases, things that are redundant that wouldn't sound good? It read the entire book in the knowledge base. And it said, here are concepts that are repeated in the chapters they're repeated in. Gave me directions on how to improve it. So I'm going from writer to editor in the outline and having it walk me through that so that we can make adjustments with the comprehensive review. And then at the end, we did a full-on re-review of the whole book. I said, now, after I got done making the changes it recommended, and yeah, this is the final review. So it wound up actually grading it. So I wanted you to give me a grade as if you're a professional editor for a publishing house. And I'll share these prompts with you guys. I've thoroughly reviewed the chapters of the book, ready to provide an analysis. It goes through and it graded each chapter. It said what the strengths were, what's the area for improvement, what you need to change to make it a 10 for each one. And then it gave an overall grade. And I just took those things. I took what it told me to do. I went back to the chapter where I wrote that chapter. I said, here's feedback. Let's tighten it up. So the whole book writing process was by and large going back and forth into the chats, which I labeled for each of the chapters in this process of refinement, because everything was in the project knowledge. It learned where we started, where we went, how things connected, where things could be redundant, how things could be tightened up. Otherwise, you can't do it all in one chat. Your book would be too small, too chart. It's hard to write longer copy with any GPT tool. Sonnet 3.7 will go as long as pretty much you ask it to. It'll write a whole chapter, but I just broke it down in sections and kept going. So I want to stop. It's 8:43. I recognize I'm just yakking, but I want you to understand the concept. Specific prompts, they're easy. Claude will even give them to you. More important is that you understand that you're collaborating and you're organizing content in a certain way. There's no magic prompt. There's no super prompt. There's no, if I had that prompt, it would turn out better. The key is getting clear on what your style is, getting super clear on what you want out of the book, chunking it down so that you start with your book outline, you go to your chapters, titles, subtitles, and quotes, and then you're just telling it, okay, write chapter 1, using the knowledge, the style written in the knowledge, and the information there, the examples. Make sure you include, in my case, I would say, make sure you include a story, a relevant story for this chapter, and a story of transformation. Go. And we iterated. So I'm going to stop and ask for any questions or feedback, and then I'll turn my attention back to the outline that I gave you guys. And then before we break, I also want to make sure you know how to get your free articles written at Authority Press, get your free accounts, get that all set up before anybody else jumps off. Thanks for your attention. I feel like I'm sucking. I'm seeing blank stares.
You know, Carl, I think the vibe, my feel on it is that we're, number one, I'm really grateful this is recorded because I'm certainly gonna have to go back through this, and I may even put it at like 75% speed as I have my own book experience on a separate monitor and just kind of go through it with you, but as the recording, not as you live. So I don't, I'm just, I'm taking in, I'm taking in just how methodical it is, and that it's on the one hand, we're learning how to use an AI tool. On the other, we're also learning how to think about writing the book within the context of the tool. So it's like we're learning two separate major processes at the same time. So this, I think part of the not the difficulty, but the silence is like we're actually processing two parallel systems at the same time,
Can
and
I
that's not a criticism. It's actually out of gratitude to be able you're able to condense this incredibly important project into such an efficient amount of time. But I
can
will
I
need to
throw
review
in
it
a
personally.
can I throw in an idea?
Yeah.
So first off, thanks, Carl. This was awesome. I think one of my favorite things is just watching how your brain works because there's
Yeah.
nothing like seeing how somebody else prompts because it's just something that you can't see otherwise, and everyone has completely different prompts. So thank you for the notion. Thank you for putting that together. It'll definitely be something that I like set a week and day aside to just go back through and just like do it slowly. I was trying to do it with you. But I was finding I wasn't watching what you were doing, and then I was like losing the screen because I was like typing something, so it was easier to just watch you. Um, I did figure out that you have to have the paid version of Claude to have projects. But I love how you're, I didn't know about the creating artifacts thing. So I think that was one of the coolest things of just being like, oh, I can turn this into a cornerstone that I can like put into my overall filing cabinet. And that's great. And then I was also doing, I was just playing with it kind of while you were talking. And for anybody else, this is something I've been doing. I don't know about you guys, but I have my tendency to get my very like deep existential thoughts when I'm like in the grocery store line or the car. And it's just not a place that I can like write them down. So what I've started doing is I have a chat in GPT dedicated to just collecting my random thoughts. And then I go in there and I ask it to like analyze the thoughts that I've been having, and I'll put my book thoughts in there. And so then I asked it to like write a paragraph of like the summary, and I started plugging it into the prompts that you gave us. And I was able to take the chat that's known me for 2 years and have it spit out like a whole thing of everything we've been doing, and then put that into Claude into your prompts. So I think that'll be like a really fast way to play with stuff. But I think going through the recording and just doing it again will be great.
You could take a weekend workshop to build a book. What I wanted to do is just get you into using Claude correctly, prompting it correctly, and taking advantage of its power features, which is making your own styles, creating a project, putting a style in the project, dropping assets in the project so that all that is in context for whatever project you're working on. I think that's the big idea. I've scrolled down a little bit on this page. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I do want to get you the access to Authority Press so you guys can get published and get some magazine articles. If you scroll down a little bit in section 3, bottom of section 3, I did give you this book author co-prompt that I wrote. And this is new. I didn't use this. I wish I had it. And I gave it a prompt. I'd like you to be my co-author for a book. Please help me develop a comprehensive book outline by guiding me through a series of questions about my visions and goals. Once we've established these foundational elements, use them to help me create a detailed outline. And there's an initial author interview, the purpose and vision. These are all the questions, right? Take this whole thing and then outline development. After I've answered these questions, please. So this whole thing between these lines, copy it. Just grab all of this, all the way up to the book author co-prompt, and make that your book author, your book co-author chat. Run this and answer those questions. And that'll be the place you could go back to and collaborate with Claude about what you want to write. Tracy, I think you had your hand up before Michael.
Michael, up first.
This will be quick. So I just want to make sure that I'm the biggest part that for me is so you're creating the assets. If you go back to your Claude, and then on your right side you have then all of your now I just forgot the word the you know the whatever the project knowledge. So you're just continually kind of having your side conversations in the assets. And once you feel good about that, you're like, add that to chapter chapter 3, and then that's way you're kind of having this interstitial, and then by having all those chapters as the artifacts on the right, you're then informing anything else that you're writing at all times. Is that correct?
Correct. Like here's an example for my chapter 3. So this is the chat that I did for chapter 3. And sometimes I go back and even do a new chat if it got too long. That's why this one's named Final. And so I took what I had previously written, part 2, the plateau, chapter 3, because I was, writing in Notion and sometimes making, I'm like, I want to see if I can clean this up a little bit. So I just took an entire chapter 3 here and I pasted it in as content. So when you copy and paste, you'll see this pasted thing. I went referencing Hustle Doesn't Scale Writing Style 2.0 over in that project knowledge. I'd like you to rewrite chapter 3, Confessions of a Hustler. That's also in project knowledge. Write in the style of a New York Times bestselling author like Oprah, increase the chapter's length with provocative questions by opening loops of the chapters to come. So I revised my writing style. Also in the project knowledge, set the hook for the upcoming chapter, chapter 4, include a section on the rise of AI agents that create unlimited intelligent companions to help employees gain more support, whatever. So I just told it what I really wanted. And the chapter to rewrite is attached. I pasted it. Said I'll rewrite it. It put it all here, which I didn't like. Like, don't do that. I can't put that in project knowledge. So I wrote a beautiful chapter. I totally loved it. And when I got to the bottom of it, I went, what if any changes did you make? Because it didn't tell me, just wrote the chapter. It says, well, I made several changes, blah, blah, blah. You did an excellent job. Thank you so much. Now convert it into an artifact. Don't change a single word. Stick it over there. So I wrote it, created that artifact, which is its own document. And then I clicked here, add to the project, put it in. That's my final. That's the rinse and repeat workflow. When I first wrote this, I wrote it using Claude Opus because that was the best writing prompt. I started this a year ago. And when Sonnet 3.7 came out, and I'd already edited the document, and I had manually corrected things, and it was all formatted in Google Docs and ready to go. And I wound up going back and taking each chapter and doing what I just showed you there. That's why you see the version of the final is I would create a new chat with a slightly revised writing style prompt. And it was ridiculous how much better it got, like massive leap. So it's an iterative process. This stuff will always be getting better. We'll learn new tools. But if you think about, start with the big idea, let it collaborate with you, interview you, get your concept down. I mean, the hardest part of the book is understanding the transformation that you want your book to provide. Readers want to go on a journey from a less desirable before state to a more desirable after state, just like they do when they work with you. Stories are what make books great. So you need stories. Well, I didn't have clients. I didn't have people I could reference, but I knew there were likely some celebrities that went through burnout with hustle, in my case. The companies that de-hustled, that did well, probably notable companies. What are the stories I don't even know about? I put Claude to work, said, find me those stories. So it found all these great stories, the overcomer stories, Steve Jobs killing himself, all of this stuff. And I got to just kind of iterate and get into a flow. And it was weekends for about 12 weeks. I think you could do it in 6 now, pretty comfortably. I hope that helps. We're coming up on 9 o'clock and I promise to keep it to 2 hours. What I'd like to do is, and I'll come back then and answer any questions, is just show you guys how to get your free, I've been promising you this for months and it took forever for us to get it done. But if you go to Authority Press Pro, you can go there now, and we now can write your articles and we can create magazine covers of you just like these. And it's really kind of cool. You get to choose your interview style. It could be voice or text. You can tell your story to the reporter, speak it or type it, and you'll see the article. You get to iterate with it just like I was iterating here and make corrections. And when you're happy, we'll publish you in one of our 40 magazines. It's actually 40 now. And you'll get a cover. And the way to get started is pretty simple. You'll go to sign up for free, use your name and email and just create a free account. Super simple. It's free for everybody to create an account, but not to get published. Once you get in, what I want you to see here, I'm going to log into my admin version. This is what Authority Press looks like on the inside. There's a little help window. Sorry, this is a third-party tool I use. So you can watch a video to take a tour, or how to create an article and do a magazine, but it's really very, very, very simple, okay? In order for this to work, all you do is you say, create a new article, click. It's going to ask some questions. Does the article feature an individual, your company, or an event? So we're going to write about you. Is your goal to establish authority, do reputation management, feature a client, thought leadership, product announcement, recognition? So you want to establish authority. What's the tone you'd like? Is it appropriate to be conversational, professional, authoritative, lighthearted? Pick one. I love conversational. Who's your audience? Entrepreneurs. What's the story angle? Are we going to tell a success story or an entrepreneurial journey? Are we going to talk about something you did with innovation? Michael, this is great for you, right? For what you're doing, a lot of innovation in that, and Zenden. Leadership, vision, overcoming adversity, whatever you want. Let's do innovation disruption. And it'll tell you when you pick these. The focus of that story will be how the business leader is changing an industry or market with innovative products, and then an example. And do you have an idea what publication you want? You could pick it from the list, go to CEO Weekly, and then hit the next button. Second step, what's your company name? Who are we talking about? You can include another person if you need to, up to 2, and you could say where you're from, and then pick your style. You can actually paste in your own style. If you want to write it using what I just taught you, you can. You could do a text interview. I'll show you that real quick, or a voice interview. We'll say text to start. So if you do a text interview, it's a chat window. You're familiar with this. Hey, Carl, I'm here to help you write a story. Got some questions, try to answer them the best. How does that sound? It's just you just say, good, and it'll start asking questions based on what you filled out. Let's start with Modern Thyroid Clinic. Can you tell me what inspired you to write? So now we're going to start having an interview. Now you don't have to type. You can also hit the microphone here and talk. I actually didn't start Modern Thyroid Clinic, but my partner McCall McPherson did. Her inspiration was driven out of personal need because McCall was a thyroid patient and was told that her labs were normal and there wasn't anything she could do. And after years of suffering, she found a mentor that helped her get her life back and became dedicated to the mission to do the same. Send it. And I'll say, wow, thanks for the clarity. Now we're just having a conversation. Okay? So you could do that. We can also do a voice interview. And with the voice interview, same question. Say next, pick your style, voice. Check this out.
Hi there, Carl. I'm here to help you write your article today. First, we will start off with some questions. Try your best to answer them, and at the end, I will have enough information to help you draft an amazing article. Just to confirm, I am interviewing Carl, is that correct?
Yeah, this is Carl, and we're talking about Modern Thyroid Clinic.
Great, thank you for confirming, Carl. It's a pleasure to speak with you about Modern Thyroid Clinic. Before we dive into the details of your business, I'd like to ask about Carl Krimenacher. Could you tell me who Carl is?
So it'll go through an interview. The interview is completely dynamic based on what you say. No two will be the same. We find that when people talk to it, the stories are way better because you get conversational. When you fill out a form to say, write an article about X, Y, or Z, while it can be very quick, you don't get the depth. Your articles will appear in My Articles. You can have drafts. They get submitted for review. They could be in review or they could be published. So when you have a draft, so here's one I did from detention to disruption, how Bart Simpson built $1 million business on mismatched stocks. It gets hard testing these things over and over. So we're in the draft stage. If you're ready, you'll hit a green button to submit it for review, but you'll see what the title is, the publication. You can click a link to read your draft after you finish the interview and review it. Make sure you like it. It's pretty simple. You can upload images. And when you do, there will be a little image cropper. The images have to be formatted to a given size. So I don't know, I'm going to find something that is, I don't know, this is all screen grabs of problems with it, but do not enter sign, I don't know. And this is a cropper, so you can change the cropper to fit. Your image has to be big enough. So let's say that was the size, hit go, done. That's one of two images. So you can have an image of you, an image of a client. You get one image that'll upload. When it's done and conformed, you'll get an option for a second one. So you can upload a couple of images, but every image needs a caption. Do not enter. So it would be, what is the image? Who is it? What's the credit? I have the image. You have to have those two things. And when you're ready, you hit submit for review. It goes to submitted status. You're not going to be able to change anything anymore. The team will pick it up, do an editorial review. When you're done and you like it, it will come back as either revisions needed or published. And when it's published, you'll get social shares. So you'll see covers in, you know, the little bugs that you could put for the magazines, and you can create your own cover. There's a help video you can watch on how that works, but basically upload a picture of yourself and it'll step you through the process to actually create your cover. That's pretty much it. It's really simple. There's a refer and earn component. Everybody who gets an account gets the referral program, and you, the referrer, can give out discount codes. These are the codes. That's the discount. That's when the code expires. So if you wanted to refer somebody and give them 50% off, you could give them the AP50 off coupon. And as people use your code, you get the link right up here. You can copy the referral link or scrape it. You can change the code to be whatever you want. You'll see people that actually register for their free accounts. When they buy, it'll show up here, and then you'll see your commissions roll in. It's kind of cool. You could do, you know, 100 referrals, and I'm going to send you a check for $50,000. The pricing on Authority Press, so you understand how that works if you do a referral, just real quick. The regular retail price for a 5-pack, which is principally what we do, that's weird, in this dark mode, I don't know why it does this. There's an agency one for $5,000, $2,000, you get 5 articles. You have up to 6 months to write them, pick from the publication, you get the cover. But if you give away a 50% off, the person you give it to pays $9.97. They get $1,000 off. You can get one article for $4.97 as well if you gave 50% off. So we encourage people to give 50% off, and we still pay a 50% commission. That's the basic business model. That's how it works. Get your link, share it. You guys, however, I got to look it up, have a code, and you get the whole package for free. So when you go to place an order, new order, so you'll get 3 drafts for free. Everybody can draft for free, no cost, to see exactly what your article will look like. If you like it and you want it published, we're going to ask you to pay for the articles. You have to buy a 5-pack or a 1-pack. So you could buy a 1-pack, a 5-pack, or an agency package. You'll pick your package, right? You'll get an order summary, and there's a place for a coupon code. You guys need to use SPEAK, Speak Denver, DENVER. Speak Denver, hit apply, and it'll cost you nothing. So you get it for free. It's a one-time use for free. You'll only get 1 package. It doesn't work on the agency package. I can't give away 25 for free. My publisher will eat me alive. But you get a 5-pack or 1-pack, whatever you want to do. And unfortunately, you've got to provide billing information. I'm already on a link. It'll do Apple Pay. It'll do every method, but it does need to take, I can't make this stop. It takes a credit card, but it doesn't bill anything. So I'm not billing you, I swear. But the shopping cart only works that way. So I'll stop there and see if there's any questions or anything else you guys want to cover real quick before we break. Thanks for hanging out for 2 hours. Sorry I didn't cover more of this. But hopefully the document that I gave you and the links and the style guides are going to help you. And we could go over this again as well. Happy to do that. Tracy.
I first raised my hand for one thing, but now I have another question, a different one about this one. I'm just curious, like, just out of curiosity, how did you connect with all these different publications so that they'll let your AI company generate content for them that they'll actually publish?
I've paid a publisher that owns, I've paid 3 publishers that own collections of magazines, a sum total of about $120,000 for the rights. That's for the packs that I use. We also have, because we've created a relationship with an aggregator, the ability to, and I'm not going to go into this tonight, but we do have our next thing we're already working on is we have an engine that'll create all your social content every month on a subscription basis. It learns your brand, it learns your style, it creates all your marketing and all your social for you. And we'll go to one of 3,000 magazines, including the tier ones, Inc., Fortune, Forbes, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, whatever you want. Those are pay to play at a higher level, and each one quotes separately. So if you said, Carl, get me into Forbes or Fortune or Inc., we'd look up whatever the price is right now, and that's the cost. That's a different thing. But look, here's the thing. Authority Press was built for one purpose. If you're a coach, consultant, doctor, somebody who wants to establish third-party credibility, this is a conversion tool. This is not a traffic tool. Most people get publicity wrong. They think the goal of publicity is, I'm going to get in a magazine and thousands of people are going to read it and they're going to beat a path to my door. That never happens. Rarely, rarely. Now, if you have the next weirdest, wildest thing, maybe it happens, but that's a unicorn play. The goal here is to get the bugs on your website that says Tracy's been featured in Women's Daily, Miami Wire. Pick any of those various publications, and they can read an article written by an author that isn't you, about you, or more importantly, about one of your clients telling a story of transformation and how they were helped by Dr. Tracy or Ina or Christine.
Cool. So it's not that we wrote the article, it's like as if an interview. So it's basically we help kind of make sure we like it, but it's basically it's like a reporter interviewed us. We're not the authors, we're the interviewees.
You are not the authors of the articles in the magazine. So you could write we haven't turned it on. We could let you write an opinion piece. So you could write an opinion contribution to these as well, and it would be stated as such. But the purpose of Authority Press was to give people like me who are restarting or just starting the opportunity to get 5 articles written that you could link on your website, that you could share,
Right.
that other people can read about you from
Right.
someone else.
Good idea, Carl. This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Carl.
And when you said the thing about like sucking or whatever, I just want to say what I think came up for me was just like I expected one thing and then it was another. It felt like my brain was like, where am I? And it was just like an orientation thing. So I think at the beginning it was just like, oh, hey, we're not going to workshop this today. I'm just going to show you the overarching strategy. And then, yeah, it would have been super clear what was going on. So that was the only thing.
I hadn't planned when I originally said we're going to do this as a separate thing. I hadn't planned on Eric wanting to tell you about what was coming and introducing,
Right.
all that other stuff. That first hour we burned.
So then you had to pivot.
Yeah. So originally I was just going to get in and do it step by step and say, all right, everybody, let's take a minute and do this. But then I wanted to make sure I got through the big concepts, so at least you could take the written outline that I have and start playing with it and apply it.
Right.
Carl, can I?
Oh, last thing, and then I'll shut up and bring my hand down. I just like, if anyone wants to do this together, I do really well when it's like, hey, let's set aside time and workshop this together. Like I like co-working and I'm really good at staying focused co-working. So if anyone wants to co-work on this after we've watched the replay, let me know. Okay.
Thanks, Tracy. Carl, can I ask a question? It's Naomi.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, you've put so much time and effort and just very deliberate, focused detail into doing this and presenting for us. I appreciate it. You know, you're sharing with us a certain format where you're inviting AI to come up with a lot of the narrative and a lot of the text. And I'm wondering if you did it another way. And I have so much content that is not yet organized. So, like, I'm the AI, but I need AI to, I mean, I'm the content generator, but I need AI to organize it for me. And I'm saying this for all of us because many of us have written and have ideas. And I heard someone else in the group saying, I have so much content and I write these ideas. I remember Oliver Sacks, a mentor of mine, used to have a notebook he took with him. And how can we put all of that into AI and then do as you, and then you create kind of a system of organization? It's a different way of doing it, right?
Well, I did both. And so you saw where I pasted in a few times and said, you know, did I just lose you? Did she go drop off? Oh no. Well, that sucks. If she comes back, I'll repeat it real quick. But what I would do in this case is go to Project Knowledge. There's a little plus at the top. You can upload PDFs, Google Docs, Word docs, text files, load it up and say, in the Project Knowledge is a collection of all my thoughts and ideas about X. Create for me a book outline. Read it all, organize it, and give me a book outline. And let it go to work. Absolutely. It's really good at that. The other thing I've learned that isn't part of this initial training is that Perplexity and now the you don't want to spend the money, like I have the $200 version of OpenAI with its deep research, deep learning model, which is really deep into the real deep research into a lot of different sources. But you get 99% of the quality with Perplexity. So Perplexity is $20, Claude's is $20. With Perplexity, I could say, I want you to do deep research on this topic and find all the stories or citations or whatever you want to do. Help me create a book outline. Find what's current in the zeitgeist. Here's my angle. Boom. And it will flush out so many ideas and content that's contemporary and people are talking about now that'll help you shape what it is you want to write about. Oddly enough, writing the prose isn't the hardest part because there's lots of tools that'll do that. The hard part's organizing the ideas into something that's a compelling story. And that's where using Project Knowledge, I think, helps a lot. Here's Eileen, Naomi coming back. Okay. Are you back?
Oh, how embarrassing. My phone actually died. My enthusiasm made me forget to look at the amount of battery I had. So forgive me.
No problem. The short answer is in a Claude project, in the project knowledge, hit plus, and you can add PDFs, Word docs, text, files, whatever you want, load it up and say, here's all my content about X. I'd really like to write a book, or I'd like to create a workshop, or I want to create a training, or whatever you want to create. Help me organize my thoughts, read everything, and extract what you feel would create a compelling, rich experience for whatever I want to do that would be appealing to my target audience of X. Help me structure and organize it in a way that makes sense for this outcome and let it go to work. And then the first chat will be you just collaborating with it, or use that outline tool that I gave you, that prompt, that long prompt, like I want you to be my writing companion, but just modify it a little and say, I've dumped all my thoughts and ideas and prior works and blog posts into Project Knowledge. This is what I'm starting with. I want to write a book for this audience. I need it to be good, but I don't know what to write. Read everything and tell me what you think would be most appealing to my ideal customer profile. And let's collaborate on that together. And then see what it tells you. And I've learned that I think the art that the people who get really good at getting clear about what they want and asking questions and being collaborative with other people in AI are the ones that'll win in the next 5 years. Those are the winners. You don't need to be a technician. You need to be inquisitive. You need to ask questions. Hey, this isn't
Yeah.
working. I'm not sure why.
Right. I like that. I like that it's actually relational in some bizarre way.
It's kind of wild. Like I really enjoy having conversations with Claude.
Thank you. I'll try that.
And by the way, I see, how does this compare to this one test I ran, even when I did my rewrite before the draft that I've linked? So in that document is a link to my book. I'd love your opinions, like if you like it or not. I'm about to publish. It's off for being Kindleized and laid out right now. But I would take sample chapters and I would go to Grok, OpenAI. I used, DeepSeek. I used Claude. I used Gemini. Because I'm always looking for the best tool. Like, because a better tool is going to make me a better carpenter, right? Wrong. It's not true. Right now, indisputed industry leader for writing and being able to adapt to writing style is Claude Sonnet 3.7. Everybody I know that uses AI heavily, and even a lot of the tools, like you've seen these tools that'll write programming for you, that'll build websites, write code, and run it, like Bolt or Lovable.dev or any of these products, and other writing tools, like trying to think of one that you guys would recall, copy.ai. They're using Claude. They're putting a wrapper around Claude. And Claude many times is the writing tool. The older ones were on OpenAI, but all the guys that are creating anything that creates any content now, they're API.
Are using Claude?
That's what we use.
No.
Authority Press is written on Claude.
Oh, for your authoritative, for your products. Can I ask another question around images? Because I really do a lot of slides and I really love art. And do you have an idea for a way to create visuals or lovely images? Like Neuroscience News always has the best AI generated images. And I was wondering if you have a source of AI for that.
There are hundreds. The person I would look at right now, like it changes literally weekly. But the right guy to look at on Instagram or TikTok is Matt Farmer AI. And he always shares what's the best tool in the moment. I don't track the image generation stuff as much. My wife does. I don't know what she would use right now, but it kind of depends. If you're looking for photorealistic, if you're looking for illustrations. I mean, Midjourney is not at all bad for doing illustrations. It's actually very good. But like if you want to incorporate text in your images, all of that, Matt Farmer AI, he's got pinned, I think, the top 25 tools right now for whatever you're going to use it for. I would look.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. I got to get to bed. I got 2 more of these webinars to do to launch Authority Press. So I would love and appreciate if I could ask for a favor. If you could use Authority Press and find the bugs, break it, smack it down, tell me what you like, tell me what you hate. You are officially the first people to get it outside of friends and family. So I said you were going to be first. You are actually first. They were literally
Thank you.
last tests this morning. No one else has it. So I have no idea whether you're going to love it or hate it. So I'll have a hard time sleeping tonight until you create some.
Aw.
But tell me what
Congratulations.
Yeah. And if you love it, share it and let me pay you. Because, I've got a network marketer, for example. He's in the network marketing industry. He's like, oh my gosh, network marketers, they've got massive imposter syndrome. They all wish there were articles written about them in their business, or real estate agents, or other practitioners, or whoever you can think of. But yeah, we're excited. I want to write some people some big checks. So 100 referrals, I write you a check for 50 grand. 50, it's 25 grand. Not bad for sharing a link.
Well, thank you very much, Carl, for everything you put together and all the energy you put out tonight.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Carl. We really appreciate you.
All right. Any questions you got, guys, let me know. I'll post the video as soon as it gets done doing what it needs to do, and I'll put it in a place where everybody can get it. Probably tomorrow. Okay? See you guys. Thanks.
Right.
Good night.